Good morning, church. If you're watching this on Friday, it's All Saints Day, November 1st. Happy November. It's November. This Sunday is All Saints Sunday, where we remember our saints who have come before us. And yeah, I wanted to take a second to talk about sainthood. If you're part of Spirit of Hope, you're a Protestant. And the Protestant church has had kind of a different relationship with saints than our sisters and brothers over in the Roman Catholic Church. I'm not going to talk about how the Roman Catholics view sainthood. I want to talk about how we view sainthood. Sainthood, kind of the best way to understand it would be a saint is a person who has become exactly who God has desired them to be. A saint is a person who has become exactly what God desired them to be. Few notes. One, this does not mean saints are better people. It's not like there's a ranking, there's God, there's the angels, whatever. God, angels, saints, the rest of us lowly people. That's not it. That's not the look. Sainthood, it's also not a bifurcation of like God's love, right? There is no alteration or change to God's love for us. God's love for you, no matter what your journey of life, no matter the state of grace, the state of disgrace, no matter how close you have come to the holy, no matter the degree, like this is my lineage, like from John Wesley down to my degrees, that doesn't make God love me any more than God loved me when I was in high school, or as I say, a state of grace or disgrace. No discipleship, obedience, or following makes God love you more. Okay? God doesn't love saints more than us. Sainthood is about really allowing yourself to be friends, to be so accustomed to the presence of God in your life that you become exactly what God has desired for you from the beginning. This doesn't have to do with trying to look, sound, or smell like a Palestinian Jew from 2,000 years ago, right? Sometimes we say that, like, wanting to be more like Jesus, there's this essence like you'd end up talking in parables, right? And wearing sandals everywhere you go. That's not it. I think you can be a stay-at-home mom and look and sound like Jesus. I think you could be a mechanic. I think you could be a lawyer. I think you could be an accountant. I think you could be a barista and look, sound like Jesus. I think it's about being there's a closeness that changes your life. And then it's in that where I end up agreeing with, what was his name? There's this French philosopher and theologian, Léon Blois. Léon Blois. If you Google him, if you Wikipedia him, mustache. Léon Blois said, the greatest sadness in life is to not become a saint. The greatest sadness in life is to not become a saint. To not become exactly who God has called you to be. I love that. I love that. That is the call to every person who is stuck in a relationship that has crushed them. The God that made you wants you to come out and be who you were created to be, full of love, joy, celebration, and welcome and mercy. For the closeted LGBTQ plus person, come out and be the person God called you to be from the beginning. For the person struck in their own mind with mental illness, who needs medication, counseling, coaching, teaching, come out. Be who God called you to be, full of health and wellness. I think the greatest thing in this life is to become a saint. And for us, I don't know how we end up identifying it. In Methodism, we call it sanctification, full sanctification. And this is like, you want to talk about the edges, there's the edges of Methodism that argue whether or not full sanctification is available to us in this life, but it is available in the next. So the idea is that the theology of this is those of us who we've loved and lost are graced, embraced, saved in life everlasting. That they are transformed when this life stops into fully being exactly who God has called them to be. That is the awesome, radical, reckless love of God. And we celebrate that. We celebrate that on All Saints' Day, that on this day set aside for the past year, there are those amongst us who have joined the great cloud of witnesses who now know fully what God has always wanted for them. Wow. What a way to remember these folks. It's another one of those steps of the grieving process. And I hope and pray that you would show up for us. I want to thank everybody who came last week. I think Jerry's 35th celebration, that was great. The music, the sermon, I think the guy went on a little long. The preacher that we had last week, couldn't he cut that? Anyway, hope to see you Sunday. It's going to be another step closer towards sainthood, I think. Blessings, everyone.